So I'm going to say what they said about Marcia. They said that Marcia, I've got people who do IT. I'll put it like that. I'm not going to be biased towards any kind of ethnicity because I love them. I've got Asians of every kind that come, and they come to me like Nicodemus by night, and they ask, what makes your brain function like that? How can you house all that information? Where do you get these breakthroughs? I was a little bit late coming in here. Anybody recognize I was a little bit late coming in here? Maybe you did, maybe you didn't. But I was late because I had to have a meeting because I designed a new software, a new technology for a farm. It's going to impact the entire pharmaceutical industry. And I was dealing with the FDA on it. Stuff they could not figure out. God gave it to me in a dream. Oh, boo. Oh, you don't like it? You don't like it? You don't like it? Well, if you like money and paying your bills and coming out of debt, baby, tell your neighbor a prophetic dream will do it for you. It'll do it for you. That's why you got to keep your belly clean. Watching CNN before you go to bed and gossiping before you go to sleep. Now your pipeline is clogged and God can't release it to you. The Lord said it to Job. He said it in Job 33:15. He said, on your bed at night, I will counsel you in your sleep to give you counsel to solve your problems. And you're wondering why you got insomnia. Baby, you got 33% of your life in a counseling session with God. Meanwhile, these corporations are spending, oh my God, billions and billions of dollars to get what God can give you in an open eye view. I mean, a blink of an eye. He gave it to me a blink of an eye, blink, and then it took me 2 hours to document it and design it and write it up. Then I went and got the technology folks and said, come on, develop this for me. This is how I see it. Because the vision comes out of the spirit realm, and it is now complete and replete with everything you need. Now your spirit needs to now translate that into what it means in the earth. And so you draw it out and you get that technology. Automation. Somebody say automation, 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 automation. All this slow manual process, automation. And now everybody in the world. And you know what? So now they're acting like they're all of them. They called me for one thing. They said, we done acquired all these companies and we just don't know what to do. And these are scientists, y'all. These are scientists. They are Nobel Prize winning scientists. There are only 60 of certain types of a scientist. They do statistics on the body. Pharmaceuticals, how they function in the body. Statistically speaking, what is it going to do to your liver? Statistically speaking, what is it going to do to the heart? Biostatistics. What is it going to do, right, to the kidneys? Yes, and if I can create a model, right, a computer model, a simulation of how it'll function on one group of people, I can now extrapolate that to another population. Help me, Jesus, help me, Jesus, help me, Jesus. Maybe the church don't like this, but at the end of the day, these are Nobel Prize winning scientists. Out of the 60 in the world, they got 40 of them. But they, even with all their PhDs, some of them got two PhDs. Even with all that, they ain't got nothing on Marcia. And they said it. But y'all, it's not it's the mind of Christ. Huh? That's what the Bible said. Let this mind, let this mind be in you, which was also. No, we think that means shout and dance. Oh, I'm letting this mind, y'all. Hey. No. Think with his mind. Hear with his ears. Speak with his mouth. And don't let nobody punk you. Don't give it away. Sell it. So the conversation we were having is, how many millions? How many? They are so shocked because they called me for one thing and heaven just blew their company. Everybody's jumping. The CEO hugged me. He's European. He don't even smile. So you won't find me out there. You won't know about this because I don't tell you, even out there. You've got to know me to even reach out to me. because everybody ain't the level. I ain't even talking about companies. I don't deal with, I'm sorry. There's certain sizes you got to be Fortune 5 and 10. Not even 500, you too low on the list. Come on now. You don't even have the internal wherewithal and infrastructure for me to come and reshape that, re-engineer that puppy out. Nah, I ain't got time for that. I'm not coming here to teach y'all. No, I'm coming to take you to another dimension. And if you tripping over yourself and you too small and you ain't got the money to pay for it, don't call me. That's somebody else you need to, that's him. Come on now. Yeah, that's him. That's him. Somebody's at that level. Somebody can help you, but it just ain't me. And that's just like your churches and your ministries. Everybody ain't your member. The Bible said, Jesus said, he said he called unto himself his disciples. That means everybody ain't yours. There's a pipeline from heaven, yes, and prophecy brings product, y'all. Just I created that. If you never remember anything else, prophecy brings products. So formaticos or pneumaticos that I mentioned previously, 1 Corinthians 12:1, Paul said, now concerning spiritual gifts, I would not have you ignorant. But that word spiritual and the word gifts really wasn't in the original manuscript. It was now concerning spiritual. And that term spiritual in the Greek is pneumaticos, which means operations. It's operation. Now, concerning spiritual operations, I would not have you ignorant. In other words, the operations, in other words, the systems, the functioning, what exists in the unseen realm that needs to be extracted and now pulled into the seen realm, because remember that flaming sword, right, in the garden now concerning being able to access that, I would not have you ignorant. And so that's why God gives spiritual gifts, right? Discerning of spirits and word of wisdom and word of knowledge, yes, tongues and interpretation of tongues. And we have to now understand that even in our churches and our ministries, folks are replete with gifts. And those gifts now allow us to pull that product from heaven. Yes, on demand. You ain't got to fast 40 days on it. Okay. I'm waiting on God. No! The storehouse is waiting on you on demand. Come on, if DirecTV has on demand, heaven's got on demand. Would you allow? He'll allow. Well, whatever. So as you can see, there are imports and exports. Stuff going up and stuff coming down, right? So at the end of the day, y'all remember, Jacob's ladder, it was set up on earth for us. It could have been set up in heaven, but the Bible tells us by that indication it's set up on earth for you to instigate, yes, for you to initiate. And we do that by the prophetic. So remember that. And so now, when it comes to, let me see what else I want to share with y'all. Prophetic spheres. Let me give another example. When it comes to Daniel chapter 12, the Bible says that God told Daniel to close the book with the revelation he was getting. He said, close up the book because of that revelation. And some of the revelation that Daniel saw was so complex and it was so troubling to him that it really dug into his spirit. And so now this is the season where the book is opened. Yes? And who's going to interpret the book? Prophets. Yes? Everything produces after its own kind. So prophets are interpreting the book. The book is opened. And so what now God is doing is he's releasing new, revelation, innovation. And for you that are under the sound of my voice, the Bible says, I believe it's Deuteronomy 29:29, that belongs to heaven, and the secret things belong to God, but that's revealed to you belong to you. And once you get it, you can do what you want. Come on now. Given that your spirit is clean, your heart is clean. I've had to forbid companies. That's when that African mother comes out, and I've had to forbid CEOs. Don't you lay off that entire organization. Don't you do it. And you give them the financial implications of laying off that group of people or closing that shop. You give them and you do the pros and cons. You do the business case around it and say, if you do this, and while you're doing that, you're really prophesying as well and letting them know, I dare you to lay these people off and lay off that money. mother that got 5 kids. She got to take care of husband ain't helping. Come on, come on. You now are a gatekeeper in the corporate systems of this world. And so therefore, now while they're coming up with their innovation and their ideas, wicked science and things of that nature, you now have to block and tackle and get in there with your education and with your information, your wherewithal, and your influence. Why? Because you're the best. You're head and shoulders above the rest. You can't go in there late. Okay, black folks, CP time, somebody likes it. Somebody likes it. And so understanding our sphere, and so I can work my sphere. We've got several, I think one of the last things, when you get on these territories, knowing who's the governor, right, in healthcare and in technology. And I will say this as a prophet, no, I'm going to skip that because maybe y'all ask a question, I can answer that. But how did I learn how to really peer into the spirit realm? How did I learn that? I didn't learn it from the church. I learned it from he was my boss at Merck, and camera's on. He was my boss at Merck, and I saw him in his glass office. He would go into his office, and he was talking to somebody that wasn't there. And I said, wait, what is he doing? And they thought he was so smart, and he was. I'm like, what is he doing? And I recognized he started mumbling, and I recognized in a conversation, I said, he channeling demons. That puppy's in here channeling demons. And I'm like, oh, you channeling demons. But you know what? What that said to me is, if he can channel demons, you can summon angels. So sorry. So that's where I learned it, because the church didn't teach me. So then, yeah, he tried to get into the Wharton School, and he didn't get in, but I did. I'm just saying. So I'm done with my Sunday school lesson about corporate America. But at the end of the day, you better understand money and understand value, because what God will give you to create and to develop has value associated with it. So I'm negotiating with these puppies what all this means financially, and you don't release certain information before you get what you need to get. Come on, church. You don't release it. You don't put the whole design on the table and say, because many of us are so, we've got problems with our emotions, right? We've got to, feel like we're important in some ways, and we feel like we got to impress folks, and then we feel like we got to give up the whole ball of wax, and now you done given it away, and now that you done revealed it, you have to prove that it was yours. You got to go to court. Just don't reveal it in the first place. Drop feed them until you got that NDA in place. Are we done? Did that help us just a little bit? I don't know if it did. If it helped you, can you put your hands together? Y'all ain't clapping like it helped you, so I feel like it didn't help you. I feel like I was up here for nothing. I feel like did we help anybody? I don't know.
No, this is great.
Maybe, no.
So, did y'all enjoy Prophetess Marcia? Amen. Amen. God bless you. Let's give it. Prophetess Francina Norman, bless you. Good to have you here. Amen. You may be seated. Okay, so we want to do a Q&A right now. So we want to just ask a couple of questions. And let's get a picture here. We were in this.
Waiting on my picture.
Yeah, you're waiting on it right here. Let's do this. Take your cameras out. You got it? All right. You're late. Okay, you got a picture of history. Okay, no, they have it specifically lined up. Yeah, that's what happens. We don't make the 9 o'clock meetings. They already cleared them. Okay, if you have any questions.